In this video, we'll talk about solving exponential equations. This will be part one of a series. And the reason for this is that in order to solve some exponential equations, you need logarithms. And we'll talk about that at a later video. So this video will concern how to solve exponential equations where you don't need logarithms. So let's go ahead and start with an example. And this is a fairly simple example, but it's going to motivate kind of the whole strategy for solving exponential equations without logarithms. So the idea is if I have 2 to the x equals 2 to the fifth, well, the only way that this can be true is if the powers are the same, because I have same bases. So I can say this means x has to equal 5, which in this case, yeah, I'm done here. Now this whole idea of I have to get same bases first, and then I can essentially drop the bases and focus on just the exponents. That's going to be the core motivating idea for the rest of these examples. So let's take a look at this one. Unlike the other one, I don't have 2 to a power on both sides of my equation. I have 2 to the power of x plus 1 on one side and 64 on the other. Now, knowing what I know about the powers of 2, I know that this is 2 to the 6th power. I'm using some knowledge that I have to get there, so then I can essentially say, okay, 2 to the x plus 1 must equal 2 to the 6th. Now in this case, since I have same base, I can now drop the bases. So this can only be true if x plus 1 is equal to 6. Those powers have to be the same. Which then I can employ some of our basic algebra skills. We can subtract 1 from both sides, therefore x must be 5. And at this point, I'm finished. Now here's where things get a little more interesting. I have 1/4 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 16 to the power of x minus 1. And this is a little difficult. I have to somehow make these bases the same. And I'm thinking what we can do, instead of using 1/4, we can say, okay, this is 4 to the power of negative 1 to the power of x plus 2. And we can say that's equal to, well, I can rewrite 16 as 4 squared. So instead of 16, I'm going to write 4 squared and then take that to the power of x minus 1. Now, I'm going to do myself a little favor. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 1 to both of these. So this turns into 4 to the power of negative x minus 2, just using my power of powers rule. And then same thing here. So 4 to the power of 2x minus 2. Now at this point, I have 4's on both sides of the equation as the base. So therefore, the only way this can be true is if these exponents are equal. So I can say negative x minus 2 has to equal 2x minus 2, which I'm thinking we can add x to both sides and add 2 to both sides. So 3x has to be 0, therefore x is 0. And that's kind of the whole motivating thought. If I don't already have 2 bases equal, I have to make it somehow happen. And I can't always do that, and that's where the logarithms will come in handy. But for now, this video will at least allow us to solve some exponential equations.